before we dive into all the content of this week's show, we just want to give a big thanks to our sponsors for the show, the Bowls Academy. The Bowls Academy provide game-changing content to all levels of bowlers, helping them to take their game to the next level. Visit thebowlsacademy.com to find out more. Hello everyone, welcome back to What a Load of Bowls. We've got episode 28 this week, another player interview. DJ Dilworth here, and my co-host who needs no introduction. He is the owner, founder, guru of the Bowls Academy, Simon Little. Welcome, Simon.
Thanks, DJ. That's probably one of the best intros you've given me in 28 episodes. So, yeah, there must be something in the water up there this week, DJ, that you're being nice to me.
I haven't been feeling the best, mate. Must be the tablets. Right, mate. This week we've got another player interview. Not exactly a household name, but Ralph de Rooij from the Netherlands, mate. It was a cracker, wasn't it?
It was. I was a cracker, DJ. I was looking forward to this one when we got it lined up, and Ralph got in touch with us just before he went off to the European Championships that we spoke about recently in one of the podcasts. So, yeah, I was looking forward to it just to get a different aspect, not the elite of the elite players, but somebody that plays at an international level from a sort of minnow country. DJ, it's nice to see how bowls is in one of those smaller countries. It is, man. It certainly was an eye-opener. It was one thing that we weren't familiar with and we certainly wanted to dive into, wasn't it? Yeah, definitely. And we had zero knowledge of what bowls is like in the Netherlands. So, yeah, it was interesting to find out firsthand, DJ, from somebody that has played from a young age throughout the country and national titles and has went on to different events and represented his country just like we did when we were younger. But he continued on, and yeah, it's good to hear some aspects of bowls in the Netherlands. Absolutely. Well, it was a long one as well, mate. So I think we'll just we'll get straight into it. So we will. Bit of a warning for everyone listening: the quality wasn't the greatest. Turns out the internet's not very good in the Netherlands, but I don't know. But just pay close attention. You hear Simon and I both offend him, laugh with him, joke with him. We both get drive-bys by him. It was an absolute cracking time. So everyone enjoy this one with Ralph de Rooij, international lawn bowler from the Netherlands. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to What a Load of Bowls. We've got a special player interview with you this week. Special for two reasons. I've got a very good friend here with me today, and Simon's here also. Thanks, DJ. We'll just... Simon's joined us for this interview, but it's a pretty unique one, so we thought the two of us would jump in with this one. So the player we've got with us this week, he has been playing for his national country since 2009, has 21 national titles at all disciplines, both indoor and outdoor. He's played at the World Under-25s in 2009, European Championships in 2011, 2013, 2015, 2017, 2014, Atlantic Championships in 2009 and 2013. First started playing at 13. He's currently 37. He's a process technologist at Tejan Aramid. And family, he's married to Mika and has a son, Liam. Welcome, Ralph de Rooij. How are you, Ralph?
Hi, thanks, DJ. Hi, Simon. It's a great honor to be here. It's so much fun to listen to your podcast. So, exciting to have this interview.
Yeah, good. How did I go with those pronunciations, mate?
Well, good enough. My name is Ralph de Rooij.
De Rooij, okay, I'll do. Ralph de Rooij.
And my wife is actually called Maaike.
Okay, I'll give you that one. It's just
Come on, DJ. Come on.
It's just
a big guy already.
You stitched me up there, Simon. You asked all this and didn't tell me, didn't you? You stitch up. And funnily enough, the son's name, Liam. That's an interesting one there.
Yeah.
So
we wanted a bit of an international name, so we chose something like this. Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. Liam's only 5 months, so a couple of months behind where Simon is with Ellie, but perhaps you can give him some tips, mate, because he is hopeless.
Yeah. Thanks, DJ.
There's so much things going on with the young one, so happy to help you, Simon.
Thanks, Ralph. Thanks.
He's on my side. No, very good, mate. Very good. Okay, so Ralph, we are very much novices when it comes to bowls in your nation. Simon's a novice, full stop, but I'm pretty expert. But yeah, when it comes to Holland, we're a little bit novices, so we're going to talk a bit about this, mate. So in the beginning, like I said, it's not a big nation that plays bowls. Like, where did it all start for you? How did you get into the sport, take it up? Where did you find it? And like you said, it's a pretty small nation compared to the likes of, the British Isles and Australia. So how did lawn bowls come about in your country for you?
Yeah, so for my country, which is the Netherlands, not Holland. Just as
sorry.
it's a small minute detail. No, that's okay. So
just before you go, Ralph, I've been waiting for someone to put me in my place because Simon can't do it. He tries it already, so I'm glad that you're actually putting me in my corner here a little bit.
You offended him twice already, DJ.
Well, it's interesting to do it actually face to face rather than those people on Lawn Bowls Australia page, Simon, they get offended after they listen to the podcast. But sorry, Ralph, go ahead, buddy.
No, happy to help. No, so I actually started playing when I was 13, indeed. And in the Netherlands, bowls is not very big. We only had 2,000 members at the time, but my club had about 130 members, which was huge at the time. And I was playing badminton when I was younger, but I had some issues with my back. So within the municipality that I lived, there was a guide with all the sports and sport clubs. So I basically started at A and stopped at bowls. Just walked into the club and said, "Well, what's going on here?" And on a Friday evening, I could start playing, and I've been playing ever since.
Very good, mate. So, what was your first sort of taste of success that you had? Like, what was the event you won? Was it a national title? Was it just a local tournament? What was your first sort of taste of success?
I did play some local tournaments, but not really competitive at the time. But I did win my first national title in 2003, which was the triples indoor. One of the members of my club, he dropped out of the team for reasons, and they just asked me to be the substitute. And we got the title, so that was such a thrill. It was so exciting. And I've been playing quite competitive ever since.
Very good, man. So what was your first taste of representative selection? You know, what was your first event you were picked nationally for Holland? I'm assuming the Netherlands. Simon's written Holland on my script here. Simon, that's you stitch up merchant. You for the Netherlands. What was the first event you were sort of picked for? I mean, how did it make you feel? How did you get the information that you were going to be picked to play for your country? How does it work over there?
Yeah, so the first international tournament I played for, I kind of pushed to go there. It was the under 25s in Rooij in 2009.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was really pushing to go there because I wanted to get the international experience. And for me, it was quite easy since I was the only one who was young enough to participate.
Yeah.
So that selection procedure was quite easy.
Wow.
But later in the year, we had the Atlantic Championships in South Africa, and I was selected for that because of the ranking system that we had. And that was basically, you're in the top 5. You guys can go, and what do you want to play? So we just got together and talked about that, what we wanted to do. And I still remember stepping up on the greens in Gorilla at the time, but also in South Africa, feeling so nervous because everyone there had way more experience, especially on those kind of greens. So it was such a challenge to just cool down and to just focus on what I needed to do, which was as a lead just drop them in and see what happens.
Yeah,
but that was
awesome.
So that was exciting, very exciting, and I loved the thrill. So playing more often was very, very good.
Yeah, nice. Small world, mate. I was actually at the World Cup in 2009 too. So it was
really
not watching. I wasn't.
Yeah, watching. We have to. You weren't playing.
If we want to play in those type of events at that time, we had to get over a certain fella called Gary Kelly, who I'm not too sure if you're familiar with. Yeah, well, Gary
I played him in the juniors.
Yeah, well, I probably would have watched you in that game. Me and Andy, because that was when I first came to Australia. We were out here on a working holiday visa.
Oh, wow.
We were based in the Illawarra, and then because Gary got picked to come out for that, me and Andy went and had a look around and watched that. So yeah, that's very interesting, mate. So it is.
I actually remember you told in one of the podcast episodes a few episodes ago that you were there and you were talking with Saeed from Malaysia and Carl Healy in your car. And
they were in the car, man. That was an experience. I think learning my trade on the greens at Ulster Transport Bowling Club back in Northern Ireland. If you'd have thought I'd have had some legends in the back of a 1987 or whatever it was Toyota Tarago, taking them in the Wollongong. I wouldn't have believed you, but yeah, I mean, that was an experience. In fact, you're probably one of the only nations wasn't in there. Well, you must have missed the call to get on the bus, did you?
Yeah.
So no, I mean that was certainly an experience. But okay, just before we move on, I know Simon's done a bit of research and he'll go into this next section a bit with you. But big change up in the surfaces, obviously for you. Then you wouldn't have seen much. You wouldn't have seen a facility like Warilla before. Like I know we hadn't when we came out, so that would have been. I know for us stepping up, that was to see that was just an eye opener. I can only imagine what that was like for you.
It was indeed. It was so strange to just see a big clubhouse and especially the gambling machines everywhere. And being able to get and to be able to get food during the entire games and quality stuff going on, and it was so exhilarating to walk onto the indoor carpet as well, just to see and to feel the atmosphere. And we were playing outdoors at the time, and it was so exciting. It's difficult to describe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can only imagine. Well, we're going to talk a bit now about bowls in Holland. Like I said, Simon's done a bit of research around this, so I'm going to pass over to Simon. So sorry, some of the questions might be a bit boring now, but yes, I'll let Simon crack on for a bit now and have a run at this.
I'll correct you on that, DJ. It's the Netherlands.
Oh, fuck.
Well done, Simon.
I'm reading. Yeah. I'm reading off the script.
So, Ralph, I've done a bit of digging, found some articles and some research that's out there in terms of bowls in the Netherlands, and it sort of stated there was like around 700 bowlers kind of thing in 25 to 30 bowling clubs across the whole country. Now, to put that into perspective, we've got some huge clubs in Sydney that would have 150 plus bowlers at just one club. So obviously it's very small in terms of the numbers that's played. Can you give our listeners a bit of a rundown in terms of your club? Is it concentrated to certain areas in the country? How is there club-to-club competitions? Can you give us a bit of a rundown on that, Ralph?
Yeah. So we indeed have about 25 bowling clubs at the moment, which are connected to the National Association. There are a few rogue clubs everywhere. So 700 across the country is quite accurate indeed. Most bigger clubs have about 50 plus members, which is still quite small if you compare it to where you guys are.
Yep.
But on the other side, there are also clubs who only have 8 members.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah. And so for me, the club that I play in, we have about 27 players coming in.
Yeah.
Which is decent. We can fill up four rings. Which is very good. And if you look at where the competition is in the Netherlands, we have quite good spread over the country, which is a relatively small country compared to where you guys are.
Yeah.
But a lot of clubs, about 10 I believe, are mostly on the east side, and they have a inter-club competition, so you can sign up as a team and join in that, and that is quite a good a tournament or competition to play in, which is I believe pairs and triples. Yeah, so that's what is going on, especially in that region. We of course have our nationals, and we go all over the country to play. Some clubs do have the possibility to roll out 6 to 8 mats, so we play on roll-up carpets, which are still 30 meters long. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say to you, Ralph, I did read somewhere that there's no grass greens in the Netherlands.
Illegal.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, it's roll up mats really and indoor facilities. That's basically how you guys play. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have those multi sports facilities where you can play badminton, volleyball, whatever. And we just have roll up carpets rolling there. We have fenders. Just put it on the end and just roll some balls.
But DJ and myself do have some history back in the day.
Yeah,
the home playing and roll-up carpets, but we played short mat, not 30
I'm not too sure about
meters.
rolling up a 30-meter carpet, Simon.
Yeah, I
It was
know.
bad enough to roll up the little ones, wasn't it?
How was the length of the little ones, DJ? What's the short
I
mat?
think it's 8.
It wasn't 30 meters.
8 meters? Probably be about right. Yeah. So we grew up in that.
So no grass greens.
No.
Is that because in your country there's a certain recreational activity that's sometimes illegal in other countries, and if you grow that stuff, they tend to just want to use it for that? Is that why there's no?
I think that's very stereotypical, DJ.
Oh
no. So for us, it's we could get grass green, but it's very difficult to maintain all those kind of things, especially if you have a very low number of people playing.
Yeah,
the
trying to get
grounds
the professionals.
that you need. Yeah, but the grounds to get the facility on is already quite expensive. You need to make sure that everything runs properly, is well maintained. So I'm actually looking on some possibilities, but that's very tough. We do actually have some artificial greens. 4, 6, and an 8 rink. The 6 one is in the east, and the 4 and the 8 rink are in the west, close to Amsterdam. And they are quite good, especially the 8 one used to be where we played our nationals, and that rink was also used for a international tournament several years ago. And some of the international players said, "Well, this is one of the best artificial greens that you can have." So that's quite a good compliment. So
good.
There should be. Correct me again if I'm wrong. Me thinking out loud. Sorry, Simon. Off script here. But hockey's pretty big in the Netherlands, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So they would have the experience with the artificials. But I find it interesting because is there many? It is known as field hockey. Is there many actual grass hockey fields still around, or is that sort of done away with all of the artificials as well? Because I was just wondering again, thinking out loud, is that the similar type of? It would be a similar type of grass that you could play on just for a bit of experience. I don't know if because I know it sounds funny, Ralph, but some of the Aussies that I've spoken to in the past, when they go to play in the UK, they go down to cricket ovals and roll up on the grass there because it's so much heavier, and it's hard to recreate that heavy grass out here. They've actually gone to like croquet lawns and stuff and rolled up. Just wondering whether a hockey field, if they still have the grass ones over there, could be something you could maybe utilize.
Yeah, well, some field hockey greens are still grass, of course, but the to cut it, it's a difference, you know. Yeah, it's a little bit longer, and most of them are now artificial. So there is a little bit of slope in there, or a lot of sand, or and now they have watering fields, which is also quite good. Water, we call it water on the field. That could be an option, but you don't want to have two.
Yeah. That would imagine that'd be the only thing, just the wear and tear on that. But hockey's a little bit of a rougher, tougher game, I suppose, than what lawn bowls can be.
I think your ideas.
You've got a bit of experience there, Simon.
Yeah, like I did play hockey back in the day, DJ, and definitely you couldn't play bowls and the AstroTurf hockey pitches. Nah, it's it's too thick, and it's totally different. But anyway, we're talking about different services, and obviously, Ralph, you play on indoor and potentially an outdoor artificial surface as well, maybe at nationals or something like that. How do you find the transition of playing carpet, artificial, and potentially going to grass whenever you play for the Netherlands and certain competitions? How is that transition?
Yeah, that's a good question. So you like the answer. It's all about your technique.
Yeah.
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 So it takes some getting used to. You need to get some practice days, practice hours in to just adjust your technique to find the length. Because if you can accurately get your line, then that's fine. But your weight is the most important thing. And one of a good friend of mine, Frank, a Dutch bowler, really taught me how to adjust to heavier greens since he was more experienced. So I've been playing in China, for instance, which was an 8 or 7 seconds green, which was almost from your shoulder out. And those kind of things you need to learn to adjust to. And just getting your practice hours in and focus on your delivery is one of the most important things you can do there.
Awesome. Gives a bit more. What's the average age of bowlers in Holland, Ralph? What would
Netherlands.
be?
Netherlands.
Sorry.
Well, in Holland we only have 3 clubs. But in the Netherlands, the average age is above retirement age, since a lot of clubs have the multi-sport halls where they play, and renting them during the day is more cheaply. So getting older people to play is easier, and so I would guess about 65, going towards 67 or something.
Okay.
I'm actually one of the younger ones.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Also, because obviously you don't have that many members at clubs, and what is it like, Ralph, in terms of volunteering aspect? Do you guys have committees and boards and things that run clubs, even though you don't have that many members? Is there still sort of a structure there in terms of club setup and things like that?
Yes, so most clubs do have a board, like a president, secretary, and what do you call it, master of coin, or I'm not really sure what the term
treasurer.
is. Treasurer, that's the word.
Yeah.
So that's that is the most important structure, because you need to assert to certain rules, and so that works. And a lot of clubs also have some additional members who do like equipment maintenance, or organizing tournaments and those kind of things. So there is structure in there, even when it's just a few members in a club. There's still 3 people who are the core, and they organize the thing, make sure that everything runs smoothly for the club.
Okay, and I guess a lot of it will be running a shoestring budget, Ralph. A lot of volunteering hours put into to help run clubs. How does it go in terms of like equipment and things like that? Is there other bowl shops in the Netherlands, or?
No, we don't really have a bowl shop, which would be very convenient. But for 700 players who, do not mix up their bowls quite often, it's not really worth. So we do have some people who take it upon themselves to be the intermediate between players and bowl sellers. So they buy some bowls, and they let people practice with them, and getting to resell them again. But so that's the basic. And then if you need some jacks or whatever, you can still go to those people to make sure you have the correct equipment. And if you really need to renew your carpet or whatever, you have to go to the bigger suppliers to adjust that, or to get new ones.
If clubs do need to renew their carpet, how would they go about funding that, Ralph? What's the go?
Years of saving. Yeah. So most clubs keep their mats up for 20 plus years, if you can, because it's so expensive. It's not only the carpets, but it's also transporting them to the Netherlands, which takes up quite a lot of money.
I'd imagine they're coming from the UK, wouldn't they? They need to be coming from the UK, wouldn't they? Yeah. I can see. Don't be surprised if you see a Bowls Academy shop popping up soon. I just seen when you said there was no shops there, dollar signs just rolled around Simon's head.
Thought there, DJ, there's a business opportunity there.
I do. You just see the dollar sign spinning around your eyeballs there. You're unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. So, what's the League Cup competitions like? Like, what sort of format do you guys play? Do you play like we play pennants out here in Australia? Simon and I grew up just playing league matches in Northern Ireland. Do you have that club v club type format? And if so, what way do you play it? Like, we play back at home, we grew up playing 4 rinks, so 16 players per team. Out here in Australia, it's more common to play 12 per team. What do you do?
Yeah, so we don't really have a club v club competition. Basically our nationals are just sign up if you want to play, and everyone can join. And it's 1 or 2, or 2 or maybe 3 days, where you have where you can play to get to the final yeah, well, win the title. And that's about it. So we do not have the the bigger tournaments, like you say, or the bigger competitions where there's 12 members on a very high
Yeah.
level playing against each other. Um, that's half my club.
Yeah, right. Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
And then again, you need to get the timing right, and you need to make sure that when are you going to play? For us, it's going to be a Saturday morning, since that's when we can play. But if you play in another club, it's going to be, well, let's say a Tuesday afternoon. So I won't be able to play during those games
Yeah.
since I'm still working. So that's a bit of the difficulty in there. What we do have is some clubs have inter-competition, and there are a lot of tournaments played, organized by different clubs to make sure that there's still a tournament or something going on almost every weekend.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Mate, we're going to move on to the international selection and representation process, but I'm just thinking, right? Just out loud again, off script, okay? Simon and I have both offended you here today by saying Holland and the Netherlands. Yeah. Just give us a rundown. Like, you two jumped on, had a conversation before I came on. Can you just give us a rundown of the difference? And we don't mean to be offensive. It's just a bit of naivety, obviously, on our part. And Simon's meant to be the research mogul here, and he's left me stranded. So just for the listeners, mate, like I said, we are doing it. We don't know much about bowls in your part of the world anyway. So just give us a rundown. What is the difference? Because people do naively call the Netherlands Holland. Just what's the difference?
Yeah, so it's quite funny because indeed everyone calls Holland and the Netherlands, just get them mixed up. It's basically Holland is two of the provinces which are the most populated and most tourists go there. But the entire country that we have in mainland Europe is called the Netherlands. And if you include the other parts of the Netherlands, for instance, in the Caribbean, you have to call it the Kingdom of the Netherlands. But that's a completely different story.
Go.
Yeah, so there is a YouTube video somewhere. Just type in Holland, what's the difference between Holland and Netherlands, and it explains everything, and it's quite funny to
there
watch.
You go.
Simon?
I'm glad we've cleared that up on this episode. So all
Show
our listeners,
notes, brother.
All our listeners, jump onto the YouTube. Let's have a look and make sure we call it the Netherlands from now on.
Get that in the show notes, mate. I will not make that mistake again. That's brilliant. This is why this interview is good. This is absolutely fantastic. Just to find out a little bits I got there. I mean, we left school a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
you didn't learn very much, DJ. So yeah.
Oh, I certainly haven't learned much since. That's for sure. But yeah. Anyway, backtracking a little bit. You said about no inter-club games, and we're not too sure when this is going to quite go out. But Simon, I don't think you've listened yet too, but I did an interview with Ryan Bester there recently. Canada's exactly the same, mate. Spoiler alert. Ryan never played a club game until he played Premier League in Australia for the Hills.
What?
Mate,
no club competitions in Canada?
Nah, you gotta. We'll not go into that too much because, like I said, I don't know what order you're going to pump these out in. But yeah, Ryan Bester's interview, mate, very, very interesting. So it is. Okay. It's good to see you've listened to it already too, Simon. Thanks. Okay, Ralph. So, like we said, no club games. You try to play sort of World Bowls formats where you can, so you get a bit of experience in the format. Give us some insight into the selection process in the Netherlands. All right. So, how did you get from being that fresh-faced 13-year-old to the junior under-25 rep to playing in the national side in these European and Atlantic Championships?
Yeah, so the current selection is quite simple. I go to my wife, I ask her, can I play? Check the budget.
All right. Keep going.
Yeah. Okay, so I have to ask my wife, check the budget, and sign up. So that's a bit of a joke that she actually said when I proposed to her this question. So it's quite funny.
Did you have a similar thing for playing week to week?
Yeah, no, I do that to play club bowls for Tarn Point, DJ.
Fantastic. You're brilliant.
Yeah, so currently the pool is very limited of players that want to play international or can play international. The level to play international is quite intense. So if you're a casual club player, it's sometimes a blocking to play international, because it is very easy to play international in the Netherlands, but you still want to represent the Netherlands to your best ability. So if you're just a club member and you think, well, should I go? Most people would decline to play internationally. And if, for instance, for the Europeans, we had 6 men who wanted to play, and we could only select 5. So that was the toughest struggle we had, which was just getting the players together to discuss, and we came to a solution. And well, that doesn't always work, of course, because sometimes people don't want to play together, or you know how it is. And we don't have selectors. We used to work with a ranking system. We don't do that anymore, just because we don't have that many people who want to participate in, for instance, a European or a World Championship.
Imagine that, DJ. A bowls club with no selectors. I think that's the way forward. I think that is the way forward.
Carnage, chaos. Oh, mate, unbelievable. So, I know we had a fair laugh. I mean, that was brilliant how you put that about asking the wife number one and then checking the balance too. So, no financial compensation for representing your country. Now, there's some people out here in Australia will be humbled by this and need to listen. Yeah. When they're complaining about how much money they don't get from their club. Ralph, just explain to us then. So what's it? This all comes out of your pocket if you have to go to a Europeans or whatever.
Yeah. So we do get a small budget from the National Association, but it doesn't. Well, it's not really that big. So, but it's welcomed because, well, everything comes down to paying ourselves. So yeah, we have to pay everything: accommodation, travel, all those kind of things. And that's tough. And to get sponsors is very difficult as well, because the sport in the Netherlands is very small.
Yeah.
The target for the for the clubs is mostly people who are of a specific age. So the reach is also very limited. So sponsors are, well, not really jumping like, yeah, we want to contribute to Bowls in the Netherlands, because they don't know, and well, it's too small, not worth the investment. So yeah, it's everything ourselves.
So all the whingers and complainers on Lawn Bowls Australia Facebook page, have a listen to that. When you're complaining you don't get your $10 to travel down the road to represent your club, Ralph here is paying out of his own pocket to go represent his country. Just let that settle for a little bit,
across the world and pay for accommodation. And yeah, that's a big ask for somebody to go and play, take time away from his work and family, and also have to pay for that as well. Like, yeah, that's commitment there, DJ. What do you think?
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. That's, like I said, that's pretty humbling. Like, well, I suppose we would have been used to it, man. Like that was the same for us when we were away. When we grow up back at home, I wouldn't imagine Portadown were funding you to go and play for the Irish under-25s. So if they were, it was a waste of money. So, but no, but also pretty similar. Like, I mean, like Jeremy Henry, like big name that came out of here. Jeremy worked in the civil service before he moved out to Australia and got it professionally. So he's taking annual leave and stuff. It was the same for all our big names too, mate. So we know what it's like. But there's a lot of people out here sort of forget that a bit, and it tends to be a case of, and I know I've seen it within my club, is the more they get, the more they expect. As you said, like you welcome the very small donation you get from your national federation, but you don't bank on that or live off that or say this should be more. You understand where you're coming from, and it's pretty humbling, mate. So that's great to hear, and I think it's a great insight into how it's not a struggle as such, but how hard things can be for you guys to be prepared to go to these international events.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, mate. So just looking here again, you've been playing internationally now for 15 years. Played in a few different countries whenever the wallet allows for it, and the wife gives you permission to go. So, mate, give us some highlights of representing the Netherlands for you over those 15 years. What's some of the big things that you've achieved or look forward to? Some of the names, drop some heavy names there, mate, of who you've played and stuff.
Well, we already talked about 2009, the under 25s, right? Where I played Carl Healy, Shannon McElroy, Ken Chen, Pierre Breitenbach from South Africa, but also Gary Kelly. So yeah,
Gary who? Gary Kelly. I haven't heard of him.
Oh, what was it again? Well, okay. So and later in the year in Athletics, playing like people with big names from Canada, Keith Rooney, for instance, you might know him, which is just a fantastic guy. But also playing, for instance, to top players like Robert Wheel, Jason Greenslade during those tournaments, which is just crazy. It's just so much fun to play those big names and make it difficult for them because they come on the green and say, well, it was not their specific opinion, but sometimes a big name comes up and says, okay, we have to play the Netherlands, let's get it over with. And then they start playing us and they're getting scared.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, nice. Bring them down a peg or two, mate.
Yeah.
Especially them Welsh.
Especially them Welsh. Well, it was not only the Welsh. Let's
the English. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Really hope you're enjoying this week's episode of the podcast. If you are enjoying this bowls-rich content we bring you, why not tell a few of your teammates or club members about the show and help us grow our community? Make sure to hit the follow button on Spotify or Apple so you don't miss an episode.
So, and I played Hong Kong Tiger Bowls, for instance. I think it was 6 times, which we actually won in 2013 once, which is a huge tournament. It's very intense to play there, but we got it. I played indoor at the WIBC, I think, 3 times, playing against people like, I think you might know Thomas Griechen from Jersey.
Yep. Yes.
I believe the year before I played him, he won the Champion of Champions.
Yep.
And so that's just crazy to be able to play those kind of people and challenge them and make life difficult for them. But also playing in the US, in California in 2014, reaching the semifinals in the singles and fours, which is just magnificent if you're able to get there. It's so much fun. And then playing against all those US and Canadian internationals. And of course, all the 5 times the Europeans that I've played, so many good names come there and develop and eventually get world bowls titles or Commonwealth game medals, which is so amazing that you're able to contribute to their experience, which is so much fun. So I'm hoping to get some of that as well to be able to reach that World Bowls title because I can't get Commonwealth Games medals, of course. But that's a different story.
Neither can we. Don't worry, and we're from the Commonwealth.
Yeah. So it's always such an amazing experience to play against so many talented people, and I really love that there's so much sportsmanship. Sometimes you have words on the field and things don't go your way, and afterwards you go for a drink, and it's so much fun to just chat with with all the people who have so much talent.
It's a great game, isn't it? It really is a great game. And you've just highlighted a lot of stuff everyone else highlights, the social aspect of it all. Just to double back, mate. So you're saying about playing all those big names, right? When did you become, and how did you become aware of these big names? Just playing, bowls in the Netherlands, but obviously, I wouldn't imagine that whatever the national TV network is in the Netherlands is showing lawn bowls every day on the TV. So how do you come across these big names, prior to playing them, or was it just a case of there's an event I'm going to go play in a Worlds or whatever, and just see what it's like, and suddenly you rock up against, like you said, there's Shannon McElroy, Carl Healy.
Yeah, well, the fun part is Facebook is your friend at certain times, so you can research your opposition, and they can research me, but they will find out it's the Netherlands, so it's a different story. And of course, we still have BBC, and I was actually a sports commentator for Eurosport for bowls in the Netherlands for a time.
No way.
That beats me commentating for Bulls New South Wales. That does.
Top Trump, DJ.
You got me, mate. You got me.
So and then you watch those games from the PBAs or the World Indoor, which are held, which is amazing, and that's how you also know some of those games. And then eventually you start growing your Bulls network, especially on Facebook, and see people and get to know people, and you hear so many great stories and you see so many good things in it.
Yeah, that's a great story. So, do you have a qualifying for potters for the World Championships? Do you have a qualifying? You don't, so you can't actually qualify for that, no?
We can, but then we have to go to the UK and participate in there because we are allowed to do that.
How much are flights to Belfast? Because since me and Simon left, there's not much left. I reckon you'd have a fair chance if you went over there and played at the Jim Baker Stadium, or Simon's nearly falling off his chair here. If you go over and play at the Jim Baker Stadium or whatever, I'm sure you'd be able to. Flights are pretty easy. Jet's pretty cheap around Europe at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah. So I actually considered that at some time, but then it comes down to asking my wife, checking the budget.
Yeah. Awesome.
You got to pick and choose your battles, eh?
Yeah, you do. You do.
Yeah. And we I was actually talking to another Dutch guy who lives in Thailand, Frank de Vries, who I was playing the pairs with in the Europeans, who was my lead, and he organizes the PBA qualifier in Thailand at the moment.
Oh, fantastic!
So there's a Thai representative in the PBA in a while. So that's going to be so much fun. He was telling me that we might be able to do that in the Netherlands as well under our conditions, which is another side which is difficult, but with the roller carpets and getting everything arranged, it's going to be an issue. But we might consider that if we get the structure within the Netherlands going the way we want to.
Well, we've got a meeting with Neil Dalrymple on Tuesday. Maybe we might push that case. Simon, note that, mate.
Yeah, we'll maybe make a note.
Yeah. Simon, when you're pitching it, mate, it's Netherlands, not Holland, all right, brother?
Yeah, okay. Yep.
I actually had a discussion with him on last Tuesday.
Nice.
So we are trying to get a tournament together for mainland Europe, since we don't have the rich history of bowls within those countries, and they're very eager to help developing something like this, to just get countries like Germany, Switzerland, Hungary, Spain, France, and Netherlands, of course, and I'm getting one, Switzerland, just to get them together and get the level up to be able to show in 2 or probably 2 years at the Europeans that we are developing, which would be so much fun. So say hi to him if you talk to him.
Absolutely. So plenty happening behind the scenes then too, trying to get those lesser nations a bit more publicity, a bit more exposure, a bit more experience with those type of tournaments. So, mate, have you ever got the chance to play at a World Championships then, or?
Only the under 25s.
Just the under 25 one.
But I've never played a World Bowls World Championship, which is actually on my bucket list to do. Yeah. And I was actually hoping that was going to be in Hong Kong next year.
Yeah.
But it fell off the calendar.
I'm not too sure what's going on there. There was a little bit of chatter around that, and it's something else that we might have to look into for another episode. But how do you get citizenship to the Netherlands? Because I see a triple forming here. Yeah. It's probably the only chance me and Simon have if we get to the World Championships as well.
You're definitely not skipping DJ. There's no chance of that.
I will research it for you and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, thanks, man. I was actually in the Netherlands 2 years ago. I stopped off in Amsterdam on the way back from Belfast. Yeah, we actually drove from Belfast to Dublin, flew to Amsterdam, got on another plane, flew to Singapore. So whether that qualifies me, that'd be interesting to know. But I have actually been, so I have actually stepped foot on land. So maybe a bit more than Simon.
Soil.
Absolutely.
Well, DJ, funny you mention that, and you say about getting citizenship. Ness, so my fiance, her grandfather was Dutch.
Oh.
So I wonder, would Ellie be eligible, DJ?
Oh,
well, you have to recognize.
that's what I love about this podcast. It just takes you places, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you never know.
Fun.
You never know.
Maybe Ellie can play with Liam in the future.
There you go. We've got a mixed
we
pairs
got
already.
Mixed pairs going on. Perfect.
Sorted. There you go, DJ.
I hope Ellie gets Nessa's sporting ability then. So there. All right, mate. So no World Championships, obviously, unluckily, but you have represented the HIBA European Championships. So we did a episode there a few weeks ago about the European Championships that were held in Ayr, Scotland, mate. You were there. Can you talk us through that a bit? Just talk us through from a player's perspective. How was the event? What was it like being there? Like, did you knock anyone off their perch?
No, it was just a great experience. The tournament was well organized, and everything was quite well structured. They had the Atlantic Challenge in the week before, so they could already practice how everything has to run during the week, which was good. So it was also fun to see those guys play and get the level on. And we arrived a few days before to just get a feel on the heaviness of the green. And luckily, it didn't rain for the week. We only had 1 day of rain. It was official practice day, but we were there before, so so it was a good practice before, and then the tournament is just so much fun to play. So many games we were able to play there, and then getting 3 strong days, 3 strong games a day every once in a while, or some of those days. That's just crazy. It takes so much of you to do that and to continue and to mentally get there, and that's so much fun. That's so such an experience. Every time you get on the mat and you play 18 ends, which I'm from the Netherlands, not used to, because we only play 10 ends maximum.
Wow.
Yeah, well, let's discuss that another one. So the stamina to get there, and especially because the greens are so heavy compared to what we do, what we have here. It takes a lot of focus and concentration, and that's good. And of course, there are some things that can be improved in the organization wise, which you always talk about in New South Wales.
Simon does. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Simon likes the rattle cages.
But the good thing is that they sent a survey to just ask the players what was good, what could be improved, and those kind of things. It was also good that there was some broadcasting. I think you watched some of the games. If Ellie was not sleeping, you could check it out live.
I did. Yeah, I did watch a couple.
Just to take you off track a bit, can you talk us through that tie-break qualifier you had to make it into the semi-final? Talk us through that.
It was so strange. We read the rules and we asked about some specifics, and it was like it felt more like a coin toss actually. Especially in the game against England in the second knockout, or what was it again?
Tiebreak qualifier.
Tiebreaker. Yeah, I actually rolled more balls during roll up than during the game.
Oh, what?
It was 2 ends, and I had last ball every time, and we were holding shot in 2 ends. It was 3 ends pairs, so in my roll up I rolled 6 balls. In the game I rolled only 4.
You play 4 balls? Surely that has to be changed, DJ, doesn't it? Like
Simon, you know what I'm loving is when he was trying to explain the rules there, and he had the head in the hand. It's the exact same reaction you gave to me when I started reading the rules out too. I was like, what is going on? So Ralph was there living it, and obviously, mate, just shows you me and you's on the same track there, because he had the same reaction to what we had.
Yeah, it was a very strange experience. I did say that it's it's a bit strange to just change the form. Well, to have a different format within your competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, it's a choice, and that's what it is. At least that's what I would say about that. It's a choice of how to play that.
Wow. And for a bit of context, if any of our listeners didn't see it, it was they played standard ends, length of ends for most of the games, and then it came to this kind of knockout decider game, and they decided to play, a couple of ends of this kind of sets play kind of thing.
Best of 3 ends.
Best of 3 ends, and shots don't count. It just was like whoever's holding the shot got one shot every of those ends. It was bizarre. Definitely was bizarre that, as Ralph mentioned, that you would go from one format to a different format within the same tournament. I think that was definitely maybe something they can improve on next year.
Yeah. But well, that's what I put in the survey, and
that's good.
I also told them that they can contact me if they want some insights or ideas. But maybe I should put in your names. Some ideas in there. Since you know
Simon at thebullsacademy.com. Simon at thebullsacademy.com.
Ralph, what do you think are the biggest challenges that you face as a player and also as a member nation in terms of the Netherlands?
Yeah, so for the Netherlands, it's basically getting numbers up. We used to have quite a good playing field, and the national association was working well, and it declined at some point, which is kind of sad because, well, we want to get the sport of bowls getting in there, and it would be so terrible to see it dwindling and fade, especially if I would like to see Liam play at a certain time as well. So we need to get our heads together and see if we can stabilize the decline, maybe improve and get some good things going, which I'm proposing to the National Association as well. So that's going to be a trick that I'm trying to get going. And as a player, it's always difficult to get the expenses, to get the budget and to get permission from my wife to play. If I wanted to go international, and especially if you compare the level of play in the Netherlands compared to international, you want to challenge yourself, and you want to play 2 hours or 18 ends to get used to it, and we only play 10 ends, as I said before. Maximum in the tournament, you play 3 games with 10 ends, and that's tough. So you want to have the mental stamina to get there, and that's difficult to train if the game and practices are so short. So as a player, I'm focusing on the budgets and trying to get the level, especially mentally, up enough to continue to participate. Because if I play an 18 ends game, I know after 12 ends it starts declining, and you can see it in the score, and we might pop up again a bit, but it's always tricky.
Interesting, yeah, definitely some interesting insights there into how bowls is played in the Netherlands. Definitely, you'd never. I wouldn't have thought, DJ, that's how bowls was played. You just think that even in the smaller nations, they still play on grass greens. They still play 18, 21 ends. They might not have the same facilities or whatever as we do over here, but to learn that that's the way bowls is played on roll-out carpets in specific times, we can only have them out in the facilities and things like that. DJ, it's just a completely different world altogether, isn't it? But there is one common theme, DJ, and that is the challenge of declining numbers, whether it be in the Netherlands, Australia, UK, and that is common across our sport, across the whole globe, and definitely something that we all need to look at, isn't it?
Absolutely. So it is. All right, mate, the future then. So what, have you got any events coming up? Any events you're currently preparing for, either in the Netherlands or worldwide, or what are you looking forward to at the moment?
Well, nothing international at the moment, especially since the World Bowls in Hong Kong is not on the calendar at this moment. So I might have to talk with my wife to maybe play in a tournament in England or whatever to just get some international feel going on. But I will play the national singles in the national indoor.
Very good.
So,
I can see
singles indoor.
Simon. I can see Simon thinking there. You've got platinum pennants coming up. You're searching for a couple of marquees at Tower Pointer. You big fella.
We are searching for a marquee,
Ray,
DJ.
Ray Pierce. You just got to don't ask Ralph if he can play. Just ask his wife.
Yeah.
Well, I am quite cheap. I did hear about your idea on how much you should spend on the marquee.
Yeah.
Probably spend most of yours on the flights to get you there.
Yeah,
So
that's the biggest challenge in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So what? Just again, still looking to the future. I mean, what's some personal goals you still have that you want to achieve?
So I've never played in the World Bowls World Championship.
Neither have we, man. It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, but I know, but if it's on your bucket list, you just should try and get there, right?
Absolutely.
So I know from my perspective that I'm not going to be the world champion, but making it difficult for them and maybe even reaching quarterfinals or would be such an amazing dream to get there.
Okay, man. So staying level headed then. I just want to throw this out there. So staying level headed. You're saying you're never going to be world champion, but you want to make it difficult for them, right?
Yeah.
What's your biggest scalp? What's the biggest win you've had? Have you had a big win over any big names, or one where you've really scared them, like come down to a last bowl finish type thing?
Well, during the Europeans in the fours, we played Scotland in the last game.
Yeah.
And we, I think they started off quite well. They were, I believe it was 8-2 or 9-2 ahead after just a couple of events, and we were able to get level again, and then they broke off again, and then we even got ahead at a certain point a little bit, and then the last end it was 17-17.
Ooh.
Oh. So the coach from the guys who were playing, he was like, "Oh, what are they doing? What are they doing?" It was a very tricky rink. It was a very tricky rink to play on as well. So that's a bit of good for them. But they got it in the end just by getting the last end just good enough. They scored the shot. But they were quite challenged, which is so much fun if you're able to do that.
Yeah, good.
Nice.
All right, mate. So how do you see the future of bowls for Holland? Netherlands. Oh man.
Well, Holland can improve on. So for the Netherlands, it's going to be challenging. Well, we need to get the numbers up. But if I look at the level to play international, it might decline at a certain point if there's no younger people who want to play and get especially the mental stamina and the physical stamina ready to play longer tournaments. So it's if you want to compete as the Netherlands, it's going to be tricky. But as I said before, it's difficult to get the numbers and the stability in bowls. And if we achieve that, then we can grow, we can develop again on that, and that's something that we need to focus on.
Right, mate. Well, we always try to finish off with some quick fire questions, so it'll be interesting to see some of these with you. I know there's another question on the thing there, but I think we're going to throw this in at the end. Okay, mate. Make, model, size of bowls that you're using at the minute.
Indoor, I play with Vectors VSs.
Oh, okay.
Size 3.
Nice.
And I used to play with Dreamline size 4. So I can mix it up a bit. But if you have narrow carpets, so 4 meters wide only, well, you can't use your standard wide bowls.
Yeah, you got to use the narrow ones, don't you?
Yep.
So you do. Mate, best greens you've ever played on?
Well, most recently, I was in Scotland, and I had a practice at Troon Bowling Club, just north of Ayr. there was so much fun to just have a practice there. It rolled quite smooth. It was that was a good experience. They do have some issues with some pest control or worm control because the UK is no longer in the EU, so they can't get the right fertilizer. No, not fertilizer, but
pesticides. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Darn Brexit ruining bowling greens.
Yep, it is true actually. Yep.
Wow, there you go. Favorite bowls player?
You sent me the questions beforehand, and I was really thinking, who am I going to select? But one of the best players I've met, a good friend of mine, is David Corkill.
Knock me over with a feather. Knock me over with a feather.
Where is it?
David Corkill, there you go. I did not expect
I wouldn't
have
picked that.
Yeah. That was a good one.
It was funny because I was playing the World Indoor Bowls Championships at a certain point, and he was playing there as well. And I got into a conversation with him, and we talked about the ages, and he said, well, I was born in 58, 57, something. And I said, oh, you're the same age as my dad.
I love that too.
Nice.
I love that too.
Since that moment, I've been calling him Dad. And my brother lives in Northern Ireland at the moment.
Oh, very good.
So yeah. So
whereabouts?
I can't pronounce the name, and I actually forgot it. At the moment.
Have a go. I've already insulted you tonight, mate. You may as well have a crack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a crack.
Let me check Google Maps. Because I know where it is. It's New Townsend. Newton Arts.
Newton Arts.
Newton Arts.
Simon's part of the world.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, my brother lives there.
Man, I'm over there in a month. I'm going home for a month.
Oh,
so
cool.
We may have a conversation on the side. Anyway, moving on, mate. Well, we just slowed down the quickfire, so we'll keep moving.
Yep.
Any player out there that you hate to face the most?
There's not really a player specifically, but it's a type of player. The ones who do everything to win, take you out of your focus, those kind of things. Play to play, and yeah.
Yeah, Simon's one of them. So it is. Most memorable club you visited?
I think Laguna Beach in California. That was so much fun because it's
showing off now, Simon.
It's overlooking a cliff. It's on a cliff overlooking the ocean. That's just so crazy.
I had heard about that one, Ralph, and then when we were doing our podcast about the Olympics and potentially being at LA and stuff, I had a quick look at where it was, and you're not wrong there. I mean, without being at Google Maps, is pretty good. But it's a pretty spectacular place to look at. So it is. Favorite country you've visited with your national team?
I think it was the Europeans in Israel. Actually, it was fun because there was also a day off and we could go sightseeing and those kind of things. Yeah.
You have offended so many Australians by not saying Australia there, mate. You're welcome back anytime. And mate, have you got any hobbies off the green?
So I have a small homestead, so a lot of things to do around the house, and some gardening and some horses and those kind of things, and of course my wife and son.
Nice. You like a bit of gardening at your house, don't you, Simon?
I've got a few plants in the balcony, DJ. That's about the height of it.
Ralph, see that room you're in at the minute? It's probably the size of Simon's apartment.
So what happens when you live in Sydney?
You want to live in Cronulla? You got to pay it. Mate, did you play any other sports when you were younger? And maybe what level did you maybe play to?
Yeah, so I played badminton, and I've also been playing korfbal, which is a Dutch sport. So you should check it out. Korfball.
We'll have to look that up, DJ.
We'll have to look that up.
It's a mixed sport, and I've only played at the lower levels. So
yeah, okay, cool. Have you any favorite sport outside of bowls?
No, not particularly.
No, just
I like
bowls.
to watch. Yeah, well, I like to watch some things like American football. I'm not really a soccer fan or football fan or whatever you want to call it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Favorite food?
I like burritos, Mexican.
Nice. Favorite drink?
I drink a lot of tea.
A lot of
A
tea.
lot of tea. Lots of tea. But no milk, no sugar, and not too black.
So just colored water.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Flavored colored water.
Simon knew that was cool. He's starting to read my reactions too easy. Mate, favorite holiday location?
A few years ago, I went to Malta, which was very nice.
Mate, he is showing off, isn't he?
Yeah, I haven't been to Malta, DJ, have you?
Oh, mate, you've been. That'd be one of the only places you haven't been to. No, mate, I have not. So I haven't. Mate, if you weren't playing bowls, what do you think you'd be doing?
It's so woven into my life. I would have no idea how it would have turned out.
Mate,
probably
this is
doing some other sports. But...
This is so refreshing, man. This is brilliant. If you can change one rule in the game, what would it be?
I think we should look at some of the etiquettes. So, for instance, I once read a etiquette rule: the skip needs to keep the scorecard, and I was like, but even if I'm a lead and I'm mostly keeping the scorecard because my skip doesn't want to, those kind of things, it's
yeah, it's a rule.
Just make it more casual.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Fair enough. Mate, any advice out there for bowlers from the other smaller nations out there aspiring to be on the big stage?
Keep playing. That's the most important thing.
Yep. And like I said, man, this has been pretty refreshing. You absolutely love the game. It's great to see the actual expression in your face and stuff. So we'll go back to the question we had earlier. What do you believe are the best aspects about the sport of bowls? What do you love the most?
Well, the drinking next to the rink. No. No, it's as we said before. It's the sportsmanship. If you have words on the green and you can get a drink afterwards together and just have a chat, and it's so much fun to be able to chat with so many people, and everyone's always open to have a conversation. And not all Irish are open for a conversation, but you have been the exceptions.
Oh, there you go.
There you go, DJ. A bit of inside information there, maybe.
There you go. We'll get some names off air, will we? Yeah. All right, mate. As we know, you have been listening to us quite a fair bit. You get in touch a fair bit. Rate the What a Load of Bowls podcast out of 10.
Well, because it's sometimes difficult to follow because the Australian system is so strange to me, I would say a 9, but your enthusiasm gives it another point.
Yeah, nice. I like it. Thanks, mate. Thank you. Mate, normally we go into a bit of a final wrap now, but we've asked you a heck of a lot. You did say there's a few things maybe in the podcast that get you a bit confused because you're not used to our standard. Have you got any questions for me and Simon you want to have a chat around, or about our experiences in the game, or anything else that's maybe stood out?
So we talked before about things like planets and levels in Australia, and then you say that some clubs, well, there was the last podcast or one of the previous podcasts, you were saying that you need a level 1 competition to be able to play planets because you need to get some things up. And that's very confusing if you're not very used to having so many players and being able to do that.
That's it. Well, I've got roughly about 150, 160 players at Club Maitland City where I am. Okay, so, and there's 7 levels of play in New South Wales. Well, sorry, 8 now because they've got the Platinum Pennant, which is your premier competition, right? So if we compare that to soccer, that's your English Premier League. All right, and you've got all the levels that are underneath it. So I've got most of those players want to play, but you only pick 12 in a team at a time, obviously. So that's why you've got your next grade down, your next grade down. So it sort of goes on the player's standard, and they're picked in that level to play in that level. But the beauty of it is that every one of those will get to play in a local competition, with the winner going on to play for a state winner's flag. So we do get 8 champions throughout the state, all of different levels. But that's one beauty of it, because it just gets more people into the game. But it's all basically, if you look at, when we talk about Platinum, we mean that's the highest level. All right, that's your Aaron Sheriffs, your Card Healy's, your all that there. All right, then you go down to grade 1, that's your DJ Dilworths, your Simon Littles. Then you've got grade 2 under that again, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, all the way down to grade 7. So that's purely what it is. It's just different levels of ability and things like that there.
And I might call you up for some advice on greenkeeping at a certain point. if I'm able to get across green here.
Don't ask DJ for greenkeeping advice. Jeez, he didn't go.
I'll put you on to a very good greenkeeper called Matthew Keogh, and not only will he give you greenkeeping advice, he'll also give you some fair good stories about me. So trying to do greenkeeping, mate, it is an art in its own. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a dying art and a very underpaid art, in my opinion, too. But yeah, we are blessed out here with the weather and stuff that we do have some good greenkeepers as well. And there's no Brexit, so they can get the pesticides that they want. But yeah, by all means, mate, we know a few around here we can put you in touch with if needs be. Well, that brings us to the end of this interview, Ralph. It has been fantastic, mate. I gotta say, coming into this, I never thought I'd ever have so much fun in a conversation that involves Simon Little. But mate, you have made it, so you have this time. Absolutely made it. So mate, thank you so much. It was a great insight into not only bowls in your country, but us idiots calling it Holland when it's actually the Netherlands. We got a bit of understanding about that too, mate. So it was educational. It was absolutely brilliant. Simon, you anything you want to add there, mate?
Nah, I just want to thank you, Ralph, for your time. And obviously with the time difference in that, setting up this interview obviously had its challenges. But to sit there and have DJ offend you, not only about your name, about your country, like, you just need a medal, I think. But thanks very much, Ralph, for taking the time and hopefully giving our listeners out there and everyone in Australia, because that's the majority of our listeners are from Australia. So yeah, hopefully it gives them a bit of insight into how bowls is in other nations, and maybe just they can count their lucky stars of what they actually do have over here.
Absolutely. And mate, I'll get in touch off the side too for some English lessons too, because I think you've got it a bit better than me. So you do.
Well, thanks for inviting me, and all I want to say at the end is keep up the good work, because we need more positive outputs in the bowls community.
Awesome, mate. Honestly, like, you are infectious. Your love for the game is dead set infectious. I remember when we used to have that, Simon, before we got all the whingers on Lawn Bowls Australia. But mate, no, this has been a dead set pleasure for us. Mm-hmm. Honestly, mate, it's been the most fun one that we've got to do, mate. All the best to you in the future. Hopefully you get to play those World Championships, mate. I will be tuning in and honestly look into that citizenship stuff, because you got two willing people here willing to go into the triples with you too.
Absolutely.
A couple of years time, Liam might be able to throw it down. We'll get a fours team going, But I'll it'll probably have to be me and you in the pairs, to be honest. But we'll leave that for another conversation. Simon won't get permission. That's all. You have to ask permission for your wife. Jana's a lot more flexible, so she is. So. But no, mate, honestly, thank you so much for this. This has been great fun. I can't wait for this one to come out on all the usual mediums, and make sure you get shared around your association there in the Netherlands. Let's get some listeners up around there too, mate, and expose the sport a bit more. So honestly, like we said, thank you, mate, for your time. So much fun. All the best to you for everything that you've got coming up.
Thanks.
Well, mate, there he was, Ralph the Rooij. It was good to listen back to that one, mate. It was a fun evening recording. Learned a lot. It was educational. A lot to relate to as well, but in terms of, the struggles of some little clubs, the struggles of smaller nations, access to sort of top-class facilities and stuff like that, mate. So, what did you take from it?
I think it's pretty surprising, DJ, there's no club v club competitions. That's what we basically all our events are.
Yeah.
Club v club, whether it be singles, pairs, triples, fours, you're playing club v club, or in the pennant format, it's club v club, and they don't have any of that.
No, it was the same when we sat down with Ryan as well. Found that out too. There's two nations now that don't actually play club v club. They just worry about playing singles, pairs, triples, and fours, because that's what they play when they go to world level or European level in Ralph's case and stuff like that there, mate. So yeah, it was certainly an eye-opener, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was. And the fact that there's some clubs in the Netherlands that have as little as 8 people as members, they do 2 rinks. That's all.
No. Well, it's not 2 rinks because they don't play that type of format.
Yeah, true.
But it's certainly an eye-opener, mate. And playing indoor on rolled-up carpets, and my goodness, I would I'll put your head away that lot. So it would, but no, mate, the educational point of view too, from our naivety, calling it the Holland all the time, it's actually the Netherlands.
No, you did, yeah.
Oh, you got in there a couple of times too. Don't you worry about that, Mr. Stitch-Up Merchant. So, and offending him, that was fun too. He offended us, that was good too. So, no, it was really good, mate. We need characters like that in the game. He was infectious, so he was. His enthusiasm for the game is something that gets lost a lot.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that's held on to because it is just a hobby for him.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a bit harsh calling it a hobby for Ralph because it's definitely a passion of his.
Yeah.
But he gets nothing out of the game other than enjoyment. There's no financial benefit for him. He's not a household name in the Netherlands. He just enjoys playing that game and meeting people from playing that game, mate. And it was a joy to sit down that night and really get to know him. So what do we have, about an hour and 10 minutes there interview? Yeah. We sat down for 2 or 3 hours with him. It was absolutely brilliant.
It was, yeah. And just to see that aspect of lawn bowls, DJ, that we didn't know existed in terms of like the rolled out carpet, playing in indoor facilities, or say badminton courts or indoor five-a-side football courts, things like that. And they have to play bowls when they can get that facility, rent that facility. So it's not like I can just go down and have a roll up and practice whenever I want. They have to go at specific times, specific days, roll out the carpets and play a game of bowls. So like you think about accessibility to the sport is so restricted in that country. Is one of the massive things, and we're so lucky over here that we can just rock down to the club and potentially play 6-7 days a week if the greenkeepers allow it. But our accessibility is so vast over here that you kind of gets lost every now and then that we have such good opportunities here in terms of our sport.
It's taken for granted. It really is taken for granted. And I mentioned in the interview too, like he gets no financial benefit, whereas I experience a lot of people here where the more they get, the more they want, or the more they expect. You know, there's never enough for some people. Whereas Ralph just sits there at home on his homestead, getting permission off his wife every now and again to go and play. What a character! What an absolute character! He was a joy to sit down with me. It really made my night, that one. Yeah, so it did, and he was. I hope everyone enjoys as much as we did. Everyone, Ralph de Rooij, what a legend!
Absolutely, and there needs to be. I'm sure there are plenty of characters like him out there, DJ, that we need to tap into in other countries. But if you think about it, if he didn't give up his time, energy, finances to go and play in these events for the Netherlands, there wouldn't be a Netherlands international team. There needs people like him. As he said, like it's basically whoever puts their hand up and is willing to go to the events, you get picked.
Or has a permission slip from their wife.
And has a permission slip, and they get to go to the events. So if nobody done that, they wouldn't have an international team. So it's such a different side of the world, really.
Yeah, you want to see that someone like that there prosper too, don't you? You want to see him do well and tick off all those bucket list items like playing at the World Championships and stuff. So,
yeah, definitely. We'd love to see him at the World Championships, and love to see him do well, DJ, and maybe get a couple of big scalps.
Yeah. Well, folks, that's pretty much all from me and Simon. There's not much else to report on this week. The Nationals are kicking off. We'll bring you some more results from that as they go. So good luck to Dawn and Mason Lewis, who are kicking off their champions as well. Mate, I had the pleasure of having young Talia Kennedy playing a tournament at the club on the weekend, and Travis Moran was up as well, spectating. Yep. So them two flew off to the Gold Coast as well to play in the Junior National. So good luck to them as well.
Yeah, good luck to them.
Very pleasant young people, mate. They're very, very nice off the green too, the two of them. They made sure they came and see me before they left to say goodbye, which is lost on a lot of people these days. So thanks to them, and good luck to New South Wales in the Nationals. As I said, we'll bring more of that to you at another time. Lots more interviews coming as well. We've got quite a few in the pipeline, which is great, really starting to take off. And as we mentioned last week, you had a couple of people contact you, mate. If you are interested in sponsoring an episode of What a Load of Bowls, brought to you by the Bowls Academy, get in touch with Simon at thebowlsacademy.com. We're putting together a few things that we can throw your way, and if you get your name out on an episode, and depending on the amount of money, depends on how much we want to say. So,
yeah, that's right, DJ. Yeah, get in touch with me, and I can fire a bit more information for somebody if they're interested in a little bit of sponsorship, a little exposure in the podcast to our listeners. So, get in touch.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, enjoy Ralph de Rooij, and we will see you next week. Just remember, keep that little disc on the inside.
And good luck on those greens. Catch you next week.